Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are making this absolutely adorable speckled yarn baby sweater. It is incredibly soft, done in one piece and perfectly sized for a 0 to 3 month old baby. This is a step-by-step tutorial, beginner friendly tutorial. For this project I'm using a category 3 lightweight yarn and a 5mm crochet hook. All the specific material details are down in the description below. So grab your supplies and let's jump right into row 1. We will chain 36. 1, 2, 36. Hold your thumb on this very last stitch, chain 2. And half double crochet into that stitch where we held our thumb onto, and now 1 half double crochet into each chain. At the end of this row you should have 36 half double crochets. If you ended up with one more stitch like I did, don't bother fixing it now, we can do it later. So I will just undo this last stitch. I will now chain 2, turn my work, and into that same chain we're gonna half double crochet and then half double crochet all the way till the end of the row. And again you should have 36 half double crochets at the end of the row. I will show you how to finish this row and how to turn and start your next row. So I got 34 stitches so far. This is my stitch number 35, and the last one will go into this turning chain. Make sure you pick up both of these loops of the V. So last half double crochet will go into this stitch. You will chain 2, turn your work, and do it again. Repeat what we did in this row. And again, this is my stitch 34. This is stitch 35. You can see these little V's. That's what we're working into. So 35. And the last one will go into this turning chain, yarn over. Make sure you grab both those loops. Finish your half double crochet. Chain 2. And you're gonna repeat this. I don't know how many rows yet. I will do my rows and then I'll let you know. So I got 15 rows. This is row 1, row 2. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 15. I still have 36 stitches, and I'm going to mark my last stitch. This is my last stitch that belongs to the back panel. So put a stitch marker there, right here. And now we're gonna chain 18. 1, 2, 3, 18. Put your thumb on this last stitch, chain 2, and start your half double crochets. So counting the chain 2, this is 2 half double crochets, 3, 18. So far I have 18 half double crochets for the sleeve. Then I have 34 stitches here for the back because we don't have the turning chains anymore. Now we have to make 18 foundation half double crochets. So you will chain or yarn over and get this little stitch right here, or the little leg of a stitch right here, and finish your half double crochet. Yarn over, and now you're gonna have to go through the little V at the bottom. So both of these loops, grab those both loops. There are many good tutorials about half double, yarn over, go through those two basic loops, pull through. Now you're gonna chain only through the last loop, and now finish your half double crochet. So that's 2 stitches. Yarn over. Again, look for both those loops at the bottom of the stitch, this one and this one. Pull the yarn through, go only through the bottom loop, finish your half double crochet. And now we're going to continue with our rows. So chain 2, turn your work, and now we're going to work across the 18 and the 34 and 18 stitches. So start as usual, and you will continue back and forth for 10 rows. So I finished my 10 rows, and now we're going to separate stitches for neck opening. So we have 70 stitches total. I counted 28 stitches from here, the 28th stitch, and then from here same thing, 28 stitch. In between you should have 14 stitches left for the neck opening. And I kind of made a little model just to show you or clarify what we're doing. So we're doing a 1-piece cardigan, and so right now we finish our back panel. So this is our back, and this is where we are. So now we're creating the other half of the sleeve and the neck opening like so. Pretty neat. All right, so once you mark your stitches, you will continue with half double crochets until you get to this stitch here. This is my last half double crochet, so I'm going to remove that stitch marker, and I will put my stitch marker back into that last stitch. We will now do 14 single crochets. And 14, remove your stitch marker. We're going to continue with 28 half double crochets. Put that stitch marker into that half double crochet, and start with your half double crochet, 28 for the other side. So we will now continue with half double crochets, 28 stitches back and forth for 6 rows. So we are now working on our left front panel. So this is where we are, and we're going to be working this part here for 6 rows. I actually did 5 rows from when we started. So this is our back panel shoulder area, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And at the end of this row, to start shaping our neckline or neck opening, I'm going to add 2 more stitches into that very last stitch. That's what we have. So now chain 2, turn your work, finish this row of half double crochets, and then come back and I'll meet you back here. At this end we will add 2 more half double crochet into that last stitch. So we are now rounding. Now do 1 more row this way and then come back, and then I'll show you what to do. This is my last stitch, so in that stitch I'm going to put in total 3 half double crochet. This is to achieve that rounded look. So now turn your work, half double crochet this way and then come back. And this is our last row of increases, so we're going to add 2 more stitches, and that will bring us to 35 stitches total for the right half of the front. And if you remember, we had 28 stitches. We had 28 stitches here and then 14 here. 14 in half is 7 stitches. So we should have 35 stitches, which is what we now have. We have 35 stitches here, or I do. So if we count our rows, this was the last row of the back panel. So that's row number 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 rows. And so far with our sleeve, we are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need 2 more rows. So go back and then this way and then this way. And then we're going to continue working on only this half. So our sleeve is now finished. We have enough rows. And so if you remember, when we added stitches for sleeve, we added 18 stitches on both sides. So there was 18 stitches here. So now we need to count 18 stitches. That's going to be approximately towards here. And now we're going to be working back and forth just a half of the front. So I'm going to count my 18 stitches and then I'll meet you. So I separated my 18 stitches for the sleeve, and so all we have to do now is chain 2, turn our work, and start half double crocheting all the way to stitch marker, and I'll show you what to do then. This is my 17th stitch. I will chain 2, turn my work, and continue with half double crochets. So our front panel needs to be as long as the back panel is. I actually did 15 rows, and at the end of this row you can chain 1 and cut your yarn. And now we can start this for our other side. And to do that, we're going to start on the outside of the sleeve and pull your yarn through, chain 2, and continue in our regular fashion with half double crochets all the way until the end of this the stitch marker. So I did my first row of 28 stitches. We need to have 5 rows like that, so 5 times back and forth, and then we're going to start our increases. So this is my row 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I am going to do my last half double crochet and add 2 more half double crochet into that same turning chain. So this is 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, turn your work, and continue half double crochets. You will repeat this 2 more times. So this row will be no increase, the next row will be increase, then skip 1 row and then increase again. Once you have 3 increases, 1, 2, and then 3, I'll meet you there. So after our the third increase, we need to go, I believe, 2 more rows back and forth, and then we can separate for the sleeve. So if you count them, it's easy to count our first sleeve because we didn't have to make a regular round here so that we can catch up with the spaces that we have on front and back. So here we had, starting from here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22 rows. Here I'm going to count them individually. I did actually count them by 2s and then I made a mistake. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So we will go one more time this way and that way before we separate for the sleeve. So we need to do 15 rows going from the edge of the front panel to the stitch marker. You should have 17 stitches with the turning chain. Now that I got my 15 rows finished, we are going to slip stitch along the entire cardigan. So to do so, you will chain 1 and slip stitch into this very first space. If you are tight crochetter, I would recommend taking a size larger hook. I'm very loose crochetter, so I don't need to do so. But now look at your stitches. So this was row 1. We put one slip stitch. Now we have one. Always grab the loop that's kind of the thinnest. So the outside or the top part of the loop, I don't know how to explain this. So for example, we have multiple strands here. I will grab this top loop, just one, and slip stitch. And then I will grab my next loop, slip stitch. Here we have multiple, so I'm going to put only one. So you'll continue to slip stitch. It's basically 3 slip stitches per 2 rows. This is our under armpit part. I'm going to put two slip stitches here. And now it's going to be easy because we just came to the part where we have slip stitching in each stitch in each end of the row. I can remove this now. So this here will be a turning chain and my last slip stitch for the underarm part. Now I'm going to chain 1 and do my first stitch into my first half double crochet, and then 1 in this space here. So continue this, continue going around. Once you get to the bottom of the side, we are going to put our last slip stitch into the last stitch. Now pull up that yarn a little bit, and I'm going to turn my work facing me. Insert my hook into this very last single crochet, or sorry, half double crochet. So insert your hook in there and pull up that yarn, the loop. Actually, I'm going to put the yarn behind me like so. So grab that yarn, pull that loop through, and now chain 1. And now we're going to be grabbing only the inner loops. So each slip stitch has a little V, like here. We're going to be grabbing these outer or inner loops, just the inner loops. Same with the other side. We're going to be grabbing these loops here, this one and this one. I'm going to grab that inner loop, and on the other side, the other inner loop, and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So again, so to better demonstrate how to actually do slip stitches, each slip stitch it has a little V. These guys over here, I'm using contrasting yarn so that you can see better what I'm trying to show you. So these are the inner loops. We're going to be working into those on this side, as well as we're going to be working on these inner loops on this side right there. So to begin, I'm going to grab that loop as we did from the other side and pull it through. All right. So if your stitches get too tight and you can't get your hook under the loops, then you may want to use the darning needle to stretch the loop. And so we're grabbing inner and inner, pulling through all 3 loops on our hook. Then again, grabbing that inner loop right here, grabbing this inner loop right here, pull through all 3 loops, grabbing the inner loop right here and the inner loop right here, and pulling through all 3 loops on our hook. That leaves us with this beautiful braid on top of our stitches. So this looks really great. It kind of has an additional little braid on top. So I'm almost at the armpit. I have 2 more stitches left. So this is my second last. One more right into that corner. And now it's going to be much easier because these stitches are a little bit softer. So continue until you get to the end of the sleeve. You can now chain 1, leave yourself decent tail so you can weave in the end. And now we're going to do the same on the other side. That looks pretty cool. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do the same. We are going to start here, go around the sleeve, and end in front, right here. So insert your hook right into that last stitch. Chain 1 and start your slip stitches. Oops. You need to count the stitches on the other side so that we end up with the same number of stitches. And now we're going to repeat what we did on the other side. So insert your hook into this very first stitch and bring this loop from the back side to the front, and then we will start slip stitching by picking up those inner bars. So although this cardigan can be for a baby boy or baby girl, I'm going to consider this for a baby boy. So the next step is to create a button band. For the boy, the button should be on the right side on the garment when worn. So we're going to create button holes along this side here. So to do that, I am going to aim for this row here, and I'm going to have to make sure that I have identical number of stitches along this side and this side later on when we finish the button band. So find that last stitch, which is right here, and attach your yarn. You will chain one, and into that same space you will put one single crochet. Work over your tail. I'm going to put another single crochet here. General rule is 3 single crochets per every 2 rows. That's a general rule. And the last stitch will go into this little stitch here. And now let's see. So that lays pretty flat. I'm going to count my stitches and let you know how many I have. So I have exactly 26 stitches. So the next row is easy. We are going to just chain one and turn. And this row will be just row of single crochets, making sure that you have 26 single crochets at the end of this row. In the third row, I did some stitch markers for where my buttonholes will be. So what you're going to do is you are going to count or leave out the first stitch, put your stitch marker into the second stitch, and then leave 2 stitches undone, and into the third one put your stitch marker. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches into the 7th. You're going to put the stitch marker, leave 2 stitches undone, and then into the third one plus stitch marker. Then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Into the next stitch put the stitch marker, leave 2 undone, and put the stitch marker into the last one. That will leave you with 1 stitch undone on both ends. So the front, the top and the bottom. So now you will chain 1 and turn your work. You will work a stitch, single crochet into that first stitch, remove your stitch marker. You will single crochet into that stitch, chain 2, remove stitch marker, and single crochet into that marked stitch. So that's your first buttonhole. Make sure that your buttons go easy through your buttonholes. Now would be the perfect time to double check. Now you're gonna do 1 and 6 single crochets, 1 more single crochet into that marked stitch, chain 2, and single crochet into this marked stitch, chain 2, single crochet into that marked stitch, and 1 last single crochet into that last stitch. So we have 3 buttonholes. And now we're gonna chain 1, turn our work again, and do 2 more rows of single crochets. So this will be row 4. So you will work a single crochet into the next stitch. Around the 2 chains you will put 2 single crochets, and then single crochet into the very first stitch. So you will repeat this for the other 2 buttonholes. You will finish this row and then 1 more row. So we now have our buttonhole band, we have nice 3 evenly spaced buttonholes at the end of the row. You will chain 1, and now we're going to start working on the bottom. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets into that button band, and now we'll continue single crochet into every stitch around the bottom until you get to the other side, and then I'll meet you here at the corner. And what's left is 26 single crochets along this side, so 3, 6 stitches, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and 2 more stitches in this last couple of rows. I got 25 stitches so far, and my last stitch will go into this very corner space. I'll try and grab both of those loops, and I'll chain 1 and do 4 more rows. So once I got my 5 rows of single crochets, I am going to put 1, 2, and 3 single crochets into that button band, and now I'm going to start doing my single crochets alongside the neckline. And again, we will count our stitches so that we know how many stitches we have on this side of the neckline. We're going to have to match that on the other side. I'm just doing my best guesses as to where I should put my stitches. So that will look something like this. Just lovely. So if the first 3 stitches are for our button band, then so far, oops, I have another couple of stitches before I reach the top of the shoulder. I'm about there. Okay. So the next stitch will be our back of the neck between the 2 stitch markers. So here I now have 1, 2, 3 stitches for band, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So I have 14 stitches around my neck opening. Now continue with single crochets until you get to the next stitch marker, and you will now place 14 stitches from the top of the shoulder to the button band, and then you will put 3 stitches into the button band. So I got my 3 stitches for the button band, and I'm going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet that goes vertical way. So just slip stitch, chain 1, and now you can cut your yarn. To finish the sleeve, I am going to undo my last stitch. Like so. And I am going to reattach my yarn onto that tail so that I don't have to have additional tails to weave in at the end of the sleeve work. There are many ways you can attach yarn to the tail end. I do it this way. It seems to be holding up pretty good, and I can cut my little ends very close to the knot, like so. You will chain 2, and now we're going to start doing 2 half double crochets together, working into the back loops of our slip stitches. Yarn over, back loop of our slip stitch, pull to all loops on your hook. Yarn over, back loop, pull yarn through, yarn over, back loop, pull yarn through, 1 2 3 4 5 loops on the hook, pull through all 5 of them. Continue grabbing these back loops of your stitches. Use your darning needle if you need to, and continue doing 2 half double crochets together until the end of the row. These are my last 2 stitches, so half double crochet 2 together, and you will slip stitch to the top of chain 2, chain 2 again, and now we're going to do half double crochets all the way around. And at the end of the row, you will slip stitch to the top of chain 2, chain 1, and cut your yarn. I'm now going to weave in all my ends. To sew the buttons, grab a piece of yarn and a darning needle. And the first and most important part is to make sure that your needle goes through the buttonholes, and mine does. So the way I do it is, so this is our first button hole, so I'm going to put my needle right on top of that buttonhole and then look at where I landed. So I should be working around this post, or this, actually I'm just gonna go from the bottom up and then leave myself a tail so that I can tie the knot once I'm done with sewing my buttons. So this is now where my button should be. And now just sew your button onto the fabric. That's it. And now I usually do a couple 3 double knots, and that's secure enough. So repeat this for the other 2 buttons. we have reached the end of our tutorial, and our sweet baby cardigan is all done. If you followed along, congratulations on completing your project. If this step-by-step guide was helpful to you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more beginner-friendly crochet patterns. Thank you for spending your crafting time with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.